Guys, our next guest returns to action this weekend at Bellator 264 as he defends his middleweight belt against John Salter. Holland's most unintentional, hilarious man, the dream catcher himself, is here on Submission Radio for the first time, might I add. Gegard Mousasi, welcome to Submission Radio, dude. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure is all ours, Gegard. We've been wanting to speak to you for a long time, man. So we got to kick it off right. The big question really is, when was the last time you were at one of these parties with the masks on?
With masks on in parties?
Yeah, man. Oh, well, we're off to a roaring start. You got no idea what we're talking. You were on Ariel's show, I think, a couple of years ago, and you were saying to him, "I go to these parties with masks on, Ariel. I'm a kinky guy."
Yeah, I got a new house. That was my neighbor. He invited us to a kinky party, but at the end, it would have been very fun, but my brother, he was fed up, so we went home. He ruined my party, actually.
But you went there for a little while?
No, it was one night. It was a party, like a masked party, and, but my brother wasn't drunk, and he didn't like it, so he had to go home because he was with us, Me and my cousin were gamed, But,
Is it a little bit like those, for example, like the welterweight tournament in Bellator? Anything goes, and you don't know who you'll be matched up with in the finale?
Well, yeah, there was something like a little bit like that.
I love it. Man, I gotta ask, because you're obviously from the Netherlands, dude. People think of Netherlands and crazy parties. What's probably one of the wildest parties you've ever been to? We're kicking this off fun.
I haven't been in too many wild parties, but. Just festivals and stuff like. But I don't. It's Corona now, so I don't go there, and I don't feel like going anymore. So things have changed. I'm getting too old for that shit.
Yeah. You're not Danny Glover. You've still got some years left in you, and I mean, it's been you haven't been able to fight since October of last year. So we got to find out, man. With things being locked down, the kinky parties being shut down, how have you been spending that time?
Well, a lot with friends, friends and family, it's been a tough year, personal issues, but, and training a little bit, yeah. Nothing special.
Yeah, I know. You were speaking to Brett Okamoto last year, and I remember you saying that you wanted to fight 3 times. And then obviously that didn't play out, man. I imagine, and I also heard you were saying how, like, when there's no fight, you're not really too motivated to train, man. I imagine you would have been going kind of crazy at times with nothing sort of scheduled. And then I think at one point, June, it looked like it was going to happen in June, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah, it was June, then they said July, and then they said August. The problem was they didn't have fight until April. They were shut down because of the coronavirus and whatever. I fought last time 8 months ago or 10 months ago. Before that, I hadn't fought also for 8 months ago. So it's not like I have any options, When you're not your own boss, these things happen, It's not like boxing, Some fighters, they go and they leave their promoter, and then they can fight 10 times if they like, It just I'm an employee,
I imagine, you're locked down. There's not much happening. You mentioned you're going through a few personal issues. Do you sit back and sort of reflect on the crazy life and the career that you've led? I mean, you've been in like all the big companies. You've been at the top of so many divisions.
No, I matured a lot, to be honest, in this last 2 years, I was a little bit wild, let's say. But now I'm more mature, I'm aging. I'm maturing, let's say. And looking back, I sometimes think, when I was younger, what kind of motivation I had. And, I'm at the end of the career almost. So I reflect on that sometimes. But, life goes on, the more I think about it, the more I know fighting, it doesn't mean anything, it's not my life anymore, When I was younger, maybe, but now it's what I do, what I know, the only thing I know,
It's interesting because you're such a veteran and you fought so many big names. When you mention that it's not really your life anymore, like, how do you keep yourself motivated? Like, what keeps you around? What's the key thing that makes you get up out of bed, get into training, and still fight the best in the world and be the champion?
Well, I'm a professional. If you're a professional, you have to do your work. You have to do your job, and always been like that. So if I have a fight, I always prepare myself the best way I can. If I don't have any injuries or nothing is in the way, I do always my best. Just being a professional, I don't need to have like motivation, or sometimes I lack motivation. I'm not gonna lie, but I know it's a job, and it's not like I can be not. If I don't be 100% in, I'm gonna get injured. So I have to be 100% in the fight game. Once I cannot do that, it's time to retire.
Out of curiosity, what do you think you'll do once you retire? Which, listening to you, it sounds like it's kind of sooner than later. But what you said, fighting's not your life. What do you think you'll do afterwards? Because you're a young guy. Like maybe for fighting you're getting there, but you're a young guy. What do you think you'll do with your life?
Maybe a bar owner, so I can get away from my wife. I already thought about it. So.
Is it just jobs around how to get away from your wife? Like, is bartender number one?
I'm gonna get an office, and then I'm gonna pretend I'm in a real estate, and then I can go away. Otherwise, you have to stay home with your wife. That's not good,
She walks into your office. You're sleeping under the desk. Where did Gegard
go? Yeah, you shouldn't give her the key. Then you'll be okay.
Would you be seriously like a bar owner? That would be a pretty crazy thing to go from like a fighter on the biggest stages to like a pretty humble profession, like a bar owner.
Well, I wasn't pretend. I wanted to go to work. Yeah, I just want to hang out and be the boss of something. Just go there, and then pretend. Not pretend, but just that's the idea that I like, to be a boss of other people.
Nobody can cancel your.
I don't have any plans.
Nobody can cancel your own kinky parties if you're the one hosting them, right?
I went only one time to a kinky party, and it wasn't a success.
Listen, Gegard, you go to kinky parties all the time, and you love it, all right? And we love it too. So stop ruining the interview. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, dude, I was gonna say, obviously, people might not know this, but I was watching that interview that you did with MMA Junkie, and you're like the Donald Trump of your country in a good way. You own all the real estate there. You basically own the country. What's the craziest building that you own? And how much are you making everybody pay in rent? Is it millions of dollars, trillions of dollars, quadrillions of dollars?
Well, I make a couple. No, I make good enough, and that's 10,000s.
10,000.
But not bad, But it's not me only. I live. My whole family lives from it. And then, just milking the students for their money. They have plenty. The government gives them money, so they milk them,
I love it. And that's kind of like, when did you start this whole real estate domination thing? Is it safe to say that you don't need MMA at this point? Like, I know you say you're a professional, it's a job, but there are people who need to fight to kind of, survive and make money. Are you in a position where you don't really need to? You just kind of, you keep doing it because you want to?
Yeah. Well, I can always retire. That's no problem. Like, I don't live crazy. The problem with money is you will never have enough. If you're at one stage and then you'd say, okay, let's go to another, there's always a level higher. And so that's the problem with money. But other than that, I can retire if I like.
And also spending time with your wife if you retire.
Yeah, that's very important.
Dude, I was also going to quickly bring up, while looking at your past, I know the Olympics just finished in Japan. Yeah. Are you much of an Olympics guy? Like, I wonder if watching the Olympics brought back memories from your time in Japan, because they were in all the iconic arenas and places where you fought.
Well, I wanted to watch the Olympics, but it was all late at night, so I didn't get a lot of footage of it. And then the Dutch, Holland did very well. They're number 7 in rankings, how many medals they got. But it's all stupid sports, The wrestling that I want to see, the boxing I couldn't see because there's all rights to with the networks, So I wasn't able to see a lot, to be honest.
That's a shame, man. Don't you hate it when you can't see a lot? If you're suffering from that problem when you can't see a lot, it's probably because you got a bush in your pants. Take care of it. Tame that bad boy with the Lawnmower 4.0, the best grooming tool in the world. Prepare yourself for one of Gegard's next kinky parties. With Lawnmower 4.0, you got a bunch of different guards so you can have texture and trim your pubes to your liking. You've got the LED light, the 7,000 RPM of power, the new travel lock feature so it doesn't go off in your bag at the airport and, you know, raise some suspicious eyebrows. Take care of those nose hairs as well. You get the Weed Whacker as well, the best nose hair trimmer on the market. You get both of those in the Performance Package 4.0, which also comes with the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. So you put that on in the morning, keep your balls fresh. When you arrive at said kinky party, you put on the Crop Reviver Toner just to freshen up the boys that are now smooth thanks to the Lawnmower 4.0. And then you get the Performance Boxer Briefs. I mean, who's going to say no? Who's going to deny you of any action with bad boys like that and fancy undies like that? And then you get the Shed Travel Bag to carry all your goods in there, and the good friends at Manscaped are giving away 20% off with the code submission. So don't be silly, use the code, save yourself some money, and be kinky party ready. Thanks to Manscaped, isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, Cass. We are presented by Manscaped. And don't be the poorest guy at the kinky party either. You don't want to be the poor kinky party guy. You want to be right up there in the mix. And the best place and the way to do that is to going to my bookie today and using our special code word submission, because you can take an advantage of up to a $1,000 bonus on your first deposit. Use that promo code submission. Grab yourself some free cash bonuses, free bets, boosted odds, and all sorts of great things that MyBookie has to offer. And bet on all the big games and all the big sports with MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And Cass, I also want to mention our friends over at Matchpoint. If you guys haven't heard much about these guys, you need to check them out right now, because they will basically get you prepared for the next big matchup, whether that's the UFC 266, the AFL, NRL, the NBA starting back up. Matchpoint shows you the absolute best sporting pubs in your area and what fixtures they're showing. Download the app with the link below in our description and put an end to those annoying calls to find pubs trying to find where they're showing. Matchpoint is your best mate for sport. Make sure to get ready after this lockdown finishes. If you're in lockdown right now, get ready and be ready with Matchpoint.
But Gegard, I got to ask you about your opponent, man, John Salter. What was your reaction when you got his name put across, you know, your desk in the real estate business, of course? What was your reaction?
Well, you know, I knew he was the number one contender, so I was expecting him. Problem is, I don't know if Bellator was very happy with that, because he's not a household name, you know. But other than that, he deserves to fight for the belt, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Salter is a 2017 ADCC submission wrestling champion, so you got to think he's going to try to take you to the ground. And you just fought somebody with a similar game plan in Rafael Lovato Jr. What was your biggest thing that you learned from that fight? And can you take much of that into this one?
Well, the thing is, I just didn't show up to fight. Lazy, maybe overtrained. No excuses. It came all down to the 5th round with Lovato, and I was sleeping, and he got the takedown, and it was just he got my back, and he held it for the whole round. You know, so this fight, I'm gonna fight him 100% from the, you know, it's all about attitude, and if he takes me down, I'm gonna just get right back up. A little bit like I should fight him like just how I did Chris Weidman. So no waiting, laying on the ground, just resting, you know. It's not gonna be boring. I promise you.
I was gonna say, you keep talking about I see in other interviews you're saying I'm coming stronger, I'm coming stronger. It sounds like you've got like a secret up your sleeve. What's going on, man?
I eat a lot of McDonald's. Which fighter is gonna tell his secret? Nobody.
But it's not gonna be like, you know, hard nipples or anything at the weigh-ins, right?
No, they can come then check my nipples anytime. It's the same as always.
Okay, good.
You mentioned how obviously, you know, you might not be in the sport forever. What are some of the sort of milestones that you want to tick off before it's all said and done? Are there any other goals that you have before it's all over?
Well, I want to fight regularly, but they give me once fight a year, so it's, you know, that's not working well. But I don't have really plans. Just win my fights, and then eventually some maybe light heavyweight, the light heavyweight guy.
Okay, with the whole because I know like it must be frustrating not being as active as you want to be. What do you kind of do to that? What do you do to remedy that situation?
Nothing. Sit at home, watch YouTube. What else can I do?
Open fake businesses so you don't have to spend time with your wife.
Yeah, just yeah. What else can you do? Play PlayStation maybe a little bit.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think you'll retire in Bellator? You'll wrap up your career in Bellator?
Yeah, I have my contract till 2023 or something like that. I think after that it's done. What else is there?
You never know.
Sorry, you go, Dennis.
No, go, Cass.
I was just gonna say, are there any names that pop out to you? Like you're a man who's kind of faced the best of the best already, but Bellator's obviously got a lot of fun names. Is there anyone that stands out to you that you're like, I have to fight that guy before it's all said and done?
Well, I'm a middleweight, and in middleweight they don't have anybody particularly that I can fight. I'm not a light heavyweight, so if I go light heavyweight, then I have to every time give 20 pounds the size advantage. Why would I want to do that? This is the weight does a huge difference. The weight division are not for nothing. So the problem is they don't have anybody in the middleweights that has a big name. They're contenders, they're tough opponents, but Romero is a guy. If he can make middleweight, so that's a fight we can look forward to.
I mean, you all came over from the UFC, and I just wanted to quickly get your thoughts, Gegard, on two other middleweights. What do you think about this rivalry between Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker at your old home of the UFC? Just want to quickly get your thoughts on this rivalry that they're having over there.
Well, they're definitely the number 1 and 2 guys in middleweight now. So yeah, it's a good fight. Robert Whittaker beat everybody except Israel Adesanya. So yeah, and Israel Adesanya lost his last fight at light heavyweight. But it doesn't mean anything. There's still the number 1 and 2 guy who's gonna fight, for the belt. So it's I would give the edge a little bit more to Israel because his stand-up is just a little bit more better, But yeah.
I was gonna say you said a while ago that you kind of Robert Whittaker kind of reminded you of yourself. Why was that?
Well, I thought he was boring, but he's not that boring,
Neither are you, man. Kinky parties, getting away from the wife. Nothing boring about you, man.
Students, don't forget about milking the students.
Yeah. But Robert Whittaker, he's not boring, he's a tough individual,
It's fascinating because they have this rivalry where they've already fought once, and now Rob's sort of evolved a little bit. But you're saying that you believe the striking is still a little bit too good from Israel's side. You don't think the changes that Rob has made will be enough in this rematch?
Well, I don't see Robert Whittaker taking him down, and it's going to be mainly stand-up, and then you have the reach advantage and, all the kickboxing experience. So, and he beat him already once. So if you have to give somebody the edge, it would be Israel Adesanya. But, we have to see if he doesn't knock him out in 2 rounds, what kind of fight it will be, But still, I would slightly favor Israel.
I just got one more question on that, and then we'll go back to John Salter and let you go. But I was just going to ask, how do you think the whole mental warfare thing has been going between Israel and Rob? Because they've got this there's always this tension between them. It's like a weird passive-aggressive thing. They talk trash, but they don't talk.
But I haven't really followed it, So I don't know what they have said, actually.
All right, well, let's get to a fight that you have been following. It's this big fight this weekend at Bellator 264. Are you a prediction guy, Gegard? Do you think about the fight and the way it plays out? Are you much of a believer in sort of mental preparation and all the scenarios in your head of how it plays out? How do you think it goes this weekend?
Well, you never know. You never can say. Sometimes I went to fight with big names. A lot of them I won in the first round against big names, and then sometimes I fought guys that I thought, okay, I'm gonna smash them, and then it goes 3 rounds, 5 rounds. So you never know. But skill-wise, I feel like I should be able to finish him in 2 rounds.
And I heard you saying that to you, it doesn't even feel like you're defending your belt, which is like a fascinating mindset because I imagine a lot of fighters, they're very aware of it, which puts a lot of pressure on themselves. How do you think that, do you think it's like a benefit to not really think about the belt, or how does that affect you?
Well, you know, every time I prepare for an opponent, if it's a 3-round or a 5-rounder, I just think, okay, my condition has to be at a certain level. Well, I'm the champion, but I don't see any difference in being the champion. In my life, it's the same. No one is calling me to invite me to their show. So, so what's the difference?
Well, let me tell you something, man. You're a very humble dude, but you are an absolute MMA legend. I can't believe it's taken us so long to have you on the show, but everybody can watch you back in action on Bellator 264 this Friday the 13th in America on Showtime, and 10 play here in Australia at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, which is absolutely fantastic for all the fans here. Guys, follow them out on Instagram at Mousasi and Twitter at Mousasi_MM. Can't wait to see this fight, man, and excited to see what's next for you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.